So I've started the record, and if you've got any questions, we'll go through them as we kind of go through the session. But before I kind of expand out on tactics, I'm going to switch to another screen and just go through some of the concepts of something I call shield wall, and just explain what it is and how it's done. So while I switch to that, but as soon as that sector is unlocked, we're able to attack it. So it would then be placing a siege, and part of the concept of the shield wall is actually taking, say, 155 of 160 steps, and holding that until they attack you. But obviously the orange in this instance is already attacking us, so we would just take that sector. So we take that sector and then it's locked. Our next move, and what's more important in kind of the shield wall concept, and going through the process, would be waiting until we can hit the next sector, which our sector we've just locked there would be locked for 4 hours. Obviously the middle sector would be less than 4 hours because we've just moved into that, and that was already locked. So as soon as that becomes available, you then start to attack it. And again, you attack it up to, say, 155, between 155 and 159, to hold it. As soon as our
Oh,
sector...
hello, Chris.
Sorry?
Chris has joined us. Happy Chris. If you go to live, if you click by live next to Malfoso's name.
Ah, right, okay, got it.
What's
great? Right, in this situation, we'd just hit the sector. We were maintaining at kind of 155 to 159 steps, waiting for a move from the Blue Guild, and then the Blue Guild begin to attack, and we want to ideally we want to then complete and finish our action just as they're getting to, say, about 150, so that we disadvantage them quite a lot in terms of losing resources. And if we do that, we then lock it, and their siege would be removed. I mean, this is just kind of a quick paint on PowerPoint to show you how it works. Obviously, if this was the real map, we'd have a problem because there was the blue sector above, and it wouldn't remove the siege. Ideally, you're doing it for all the ones connected around. If you do that process and move forward and hold a sector, and then siege the next one up to the within 10 of the lit, so that you can take the sector, you can actually move kind of this virtual shield wall forward and keep them out of territory. And it's what they've done to us on that sector. The Orange Guild had actually got in the sector where I'm moving my mouse, they'd actually got 159, and they were holding 159, waiting to take it. So the circumstances were right, and their shield was there for the longest period. So it's something that other guilds do, and do quite well. It's something that we need to get and do better, because we need to play more tactically than just brute force, because these guilds are more experienced and have got more firepower than us, at least two of the guilds here. But objective wise, if we finish in the top 5, we will stay in diamond. If we finish in the top 3, I will be really impressed. And if we finish in the top 4, we would stay maxed out in diamond. So we stand a good chance, I think, of staying in the Diamond League. We just need to play it right, really. And kind of other things, and fighting and things that you need to explore or want to explore on Battlegrounds. any questions about the concept I've just gone over, or things in Battlegrounds in general?
I think the strategy is very helpful, but the problem I see is this requires coordination and communication, and all being in the right place at the right time together so we can move quickly.
It's something that's difficult for all guilds to do, but we were battling earlier on and racing the Blue Guild, and we were doing reasonably well against them, considering that they're so much better than us. And it was about 6 or 7 players on doing it, so it's the communication has to be through the threads as a default, and it's about the early warning system of saying at this time this will be available, let's make sure we do it. We've got 80 people in the guild, of which 50 have some activity in Battlegrounds. Of that 50, we can be reasonably sure at any point in time there's going to be between 5 and 10 that could do something. And if you've got a couple of reasonable big hitters in that 5 or 10, then we can do damage.
Al,
Yeah.
could you explain to me, because I'm still relatively inexperienced in this, about how the attrition works?
Yes, certainly. How it works is, for each fight you do, you'll gain 1 attrition count. So you can see on the screen the battle we've got highlighted, and the activity we're doing on A4D. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've got that open. I've got a figure in the top corner where I've just opened level of attrition,
Mm-hmm.
and my level of attrition is on 89 at the moment. Attrition will go up in its natural state 1 step for every battle you do, or 1 step for every negotiation you do.
Mm-hmm.
So if I do, because the percentages are so bad, it very much depends on what battle comes up. That's likely to be a battle I'm not going to achieve very well, because the attack and defense for their army is 1697. Although I've got a really good attack, my attack power is 1000, so they're going to do me a lot of damage. So I'll negotiate that. So if I go and quickly negotiate it, and if there's any advice on negotiations, I'm quite happy to take it. And then I just swap this
that's
around.
nice, yeah.
Mm.
So I've won that sector, and you may have noticed as I did it, there was a +1 hit on attrition, so I had an extra hit on attrition, because there's nothing in that sector stopping us. There's no buildings that are modifying the attrition.
So as the figure increases, it doesn't mean that it's getting harder for you to do it.
It does, yes.
Yes.
So if I now mouse over it, it's now 1740 attack penalty against me, and it's still 17 goods for each negotiation step. When it gets to kind of 92, it would go up to 18 steps, and then it will be 18 goods per negotiation. And it goes up each time the attrition counter goes up.
Right. So when people say things, it's low attrition at the minute, is that because there's not that many of us online attacking?
No, it doesn't.
Oh, okay.
And that's exactly what I was going to come on to explain.
Did you explain about the buildings? Because Alex
that's where I'm going. Yeah, definitely. Because that's attrition in normal circumstances, Chris. What happens is the buildings, and if you click on any one of the sectors, you'll see a number of buildings that can be built in a sector. And if I look at the different types of buildings, it's difficult on ours because we haven't got a sector with buildings in, but because you can't see what they cost. But I can see that there are some buildings on there, and there's a siege camp lowers the attrition of the guild that is attacking. So a siege camp lowers the chance of an attrition stepped up by 24%. If you've got 4 siege camps around a particular sector, then it is on effectively almost zero attrition. It's on 4% chance that you will have an attrition step for a battle or a negotiation.
Right.
And that's what people mean by low attrition, is that we're surrounding it with a lot of resources, which means that if you do a battle in there, you're going to be able to do a load of battles without them getting harder, which means you lose less troops and you get more resources in.
Right.
In addition to that, there are other buildings they can put called traps and decoys that increase the chance of attrition on an attack, and that means that there can be an occasion where you'll take 2 attrition points rather than 1. And you need to look out for those. So it's always worthwhile checking what buildings are around to see what the benefit is.
Well, my strategy at the moment is rely on the midnight reset of attrition and then look to fight early when it's low attrition, and only pick single wave armies and avoid double wave armies. And then as you become successful, their defense and attack percentages increase, I think, in steps of 2%.
They do, yes. It depends. It's different in different ages.
Well, I'm seeing it increment by 2, and I let that go up to 10, and then I switch to negotiation.
Right. And that also depends on how well your battle bonuses do, because obviously as those increase, you can probably take it further.
Yeah.
But the other tip to look forward to, because one of the things that you say you're doing, you're looking to pick your battles. So if I look at my battle there, it's a 2-stage battle. It's a very high percentage, and we already knew that was going to be. I know for a fact they're going to be awkward troops. And the second battle is relatively small, but still there. What you can do is, rather than hitting that to reset that battle, you can pick a battle elsewhere, and that's a 1-stage battle. It just so happens that they're a really evil set of troops, but occasionally you'll get a 1-stage battle that's a lot easier, and it will be do that battle and then go back, and it will reset the battle on the other sector. So that battle would then be a different set of troops. So that kind of covers the concepts I wanted to go through today. We know it's going to be difficult. It's any other questions you've got, or any other areas of battlegrounds that you'd like to know more about that I can help with?
Deadly silent.
I take that as presumably a no then.
Al, you're getting true teacher experience where the class say nothing and look at you blankly.
It's wonderful, isn't it? Yes. Do we all understand? What did you say?
Now of attrition, because that was the thing that was confusing me. And now it's given me a few extra tips that I can try out tomorrow in terms of going to around different sectors to come when it has got where I've just been wiped out quite quickly.
Yeah, it's and it's something not to do all the time, because if it's working for you, just leave it. But if you're blocked, it's a way of getting out of that block.
Yeah.